The President is also reacting to the resignation of the British Prime Minister David Cameron, which comes into effect in October. President Muhammadu Buhari notes that Nigeria has enjoyed remarkable goodwill and support from the UK under the leadership of Prime Minister Cameron. The President adds that Cameron's resignation was, quote, a demonstration of courage by a democratic leader who respects the will of the people, even if he didn't agree with their decision. By putting the will of the people before his political future, the Prime Minister proved himself to be a selfless leader with respect for democracy and voter sovereignty, end of quote. The President also said that Nigeria looks forward to greater cooperation with Britain despite the outcome of the referendum. Meanwhile, the European Union has indicated that the first meeting of the UK vote will hold on Wednesday, June the 29th. And this is coming just as the United Nations spokesperson, Adrian Edwards, explains that the vote to leave the European Union does not affect the UK as it concerns refugee operations. This view is also shared by the International Organization for Migration spokesperson, Joel Millman. He says the referendum results were a process that will start on how the relationship between the UK and the EU will look on all policy areas.
51 Refugee Convention still applies. The outcome of this referendum doesn't have a bearing on that at the moment. The International Refugee Convention, its obligations, the UK's obligations to that, both domestically under its own laws and to international law, weren't part of this referendum.
Referendum results is a process that has actually started now and not concluded. As of now, discussions and negotiations will start on how the relationship between the UK and the EU will look on all policy areas. IOM respects the sovereign wishes of the British electorate while reminding all that managed migration and migration governance is a process of ensuring and improving safe, legal and secure migration for all.
Away from the Brexit vote, let's look at issues back here at home. The Nigerian Army has reaffirmed its commitment and loyalty to President Muhammadu Buhari as the Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces. Addressing newsmen in Abuja at the end of a special security conference, the General Officer commanding one division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Adeniyi Oyebade, says measures have been put in place to investigate the alleged rumor of a planned coup. He warned mischief makers to desist from sowing seeds of discord within the armed forces. Major General Oyebade adds that the Army, in collaboration with other security agencies, remains focused on winning the war against the insurgency in the northeast while restoring normalcy in the oil-rich Niger Delta. And the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, says the Nigerian Air Force will increase its annual recruitment from 1,000 personnel to 2,500. Air Marshal Abubakar announced the increase while receiving Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State. In addition, the Air Force has procured 10 helicopters and are awaiting 10 other training aircraft to enhance its special operations. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor reports.
This is a thank you visit by Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State. The governor has come to express his gratitude to the Air Force for its contribution to tackling security challenges in the northeast, especially in Kaduna State. But like Oliver Twist, he asked for more.
The joint security operations we had in the northwest, Operation Sharon Daji against cattle rustling in the Kamuku-Kuyambana forest could not have been as successful as it has been without the support of the Chief of Air Staff and the officers and men of the Nigerian Air Force. The problem has improved, but we are still not out of the woods, and I felt that it is important to not only come and thank the Chief, but like Oliver Twist, to ask for more and more support of the Nigerian Air Force as we face the emerging problems of kidnapping and armed robbery.
But beyond the partnership, the Chief of Air Staff announced ongoing reforms in the Air Force aimed at further contributing to fighting Nigeria's internal and external security challenges.
We have increased the number of recruits intake. We used to take 1,000 people annually. From this year, we are recruiting 2,500. Because of all these challenges, internal security challenges, we have expanded the training program. We are sending pilots out of Nigeria. We already have 10 in UK, 10 in South Africa. And another 10 is reporting to the International Helicopter Flying School in Ilorin.
The agreement at this meeting is that Nigeria is better off when the civilian authority and the military work together for the common good of the country. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
Let's cross over to Abuja now, and here's Yemisi Ikpai. Yemisi.
Hello, Ijoma. Thrilled to have you with us here in Abuja, the nation's capital. Residents of Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital, today took to the streets to protest against what they describe as the mismanagement of the state's resources by the current administration in the state. The protesters, who were led by a coalition of society groups, expressed disappointment with the state government's inability to pay workers' salaries for several months. The Southwest coordinator of the Be the Change organization, Omotunde Fajoyi, said all Nigerians must join in the fight against corruption in order to achieve the desired results. However, the Ekiti state government, through the governor's special assistant on public communications, Lere Olayinka, said the protest was sponsored by the All Progressives Congress to discredit Governor Ayo Fayose.
Corruption, as been defined by Nigerians, may be wrong sometimes. Just simply define corruption as selfishness. And taking Ekiti for an example, we have about 2.something million inhabitants. And just one person has in his account money that can pay the civil servants 4 months' salaries. That is selfishness. That is the definition of corruption. And any leader who wants to lead properly and succeed must have at its foundational base selflessness.
Are you saying the 28 state governors, the governors of the 28 states that cannot pay salary as of today regularly, are we saying all the 28 state governors stole money, that is why they cannot pay salary? They have the latitude of moving around the state and telling us that if anybody that is going to show grievances in this state about corruption will be asking the APC what they did with the 25 billion bond that they took, that they used to plant flower. They said they plant flower in Ekiti. Up to today, we cannot see any flower here. We cannot see any flower here. They said they used part of the bond to build the civic center. That civic center is not completed. Where is the balance? So people should begin to ask questions.
The Kaduna state government has identified over 13,000 suspected ghost workers in the state civil service. The state head of service, Mrs. Alisa Batu Dada Onazi, disclosed this while briefing journalists at the end of the State Executive Council meeting. She explains that the ghost workers were uncovered after a series of verification exercises were conducted to ascertain the actual number of civil servants on the state government's payroll.
It is against all ethics to use revenue meant for between 8 and 10 million people on 1% of the population. This realization, among other things, made the administration to now look at the things to be done to get to the actual staff on the payroll. And so a series of verification exercises were embarked upon. Apart from the reorganization, realignment of ministries, departments and parastatals. The first verification exercise took place in June 2015. Then there was another exercise in July and August. Along with that, the government reduced the overhead expenditure to 40%.
Development in the solid mineral sector can only be achieved if state authorities are turned into economic resource corridors, while boundary disputes are resolved. That's according to the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dr. Kayode Fayemi. He says beyond the major challenge of getting investors to see Nigeria as a mining destination is the need for states to remain united. The minister was speaking in Abuja at the 10th Annual Business Law Conference of the Nigeria Bar Association. Our correspondent, Omelogo Nnadi, reports.
This is a major problem that I want
This is the 10th annual Business Law Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association, which has a key focus of law reform and economic development. Regulators, business executives and policymakers are looking at appropriate policies and effective regulations for economic growth and diversification. Solid minerals sector is one area that deserves attention, and the minister says a new approach that requires states to work together ought to be implemented.
It's a long-term sector, it requires a lot of investment, and you will not get immediate results from it. So the approach I've taken was to engage governors on how to go around these issues and also to see that they work together.
While mining is not a quick-wind sector, agriculture, on the other hand, can work in the short term. The Minister of State for Agriculture assures that a 750 billion naira fund with as low as 6% interest rates will be unveiled soon, but warns that giving cash to farmers will be discouraged.
We'll be able to create clusters of land. We clear the land and then locate it to young men who want to go into farming. And then we can borrow the model that was operated in Kebbi, where you are giving support in kind. We give you the fertilizer, we give you the seed and other farm inputs. You grow. If it's rice you want to grow, in 3 weeks, in 3 months, your rice will mature and you can get the money. We want to see how we can discourage people from taking cash and running away with the cash.
To keep the interest of the Nigerian government on economy diversification, discussions such as this must continue. Participants here say it is important that any roadmap made must go beyond an electoral cycle for sustainability. Omelogo Nadi, Channels Television News.
And that's all from us in Abuja. Back to you, Ijoma, in Lagos.
Thanks a lot, Yemisi.